All right, Steve and I have arrived at the Raleigh Card Show. It looks like there's people actually pouring in. It just opened up maybe like 10 minutes ago, so we'll see what happens. Steve, any words of wisdom or anything you want to throw out there? Any expectations?
I don't know what to expect at all. Absolutely not. The last two shows I've been at were really big, so I know I expect it to be a little bit smaller, but hopefully this is where I can find some good deals at a smaller local type show.
All right, we'll take some clips inside. Stay tuned. Steve checking on stuff. All right, Steve and I just made a deal for some autos, some Hall of Fame autos. Make sure to check out NC Triangle Collectibles on IG. Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all my collectibles friends. Steve, what the? Have you been back there the whole time? How's it going, man? We've got good. Steve in North Carolina. It is his first time here, I think. I think I've got that right.
Yes, first time actually touching down in North Carolina.
Wow. So what'd you think of, the show? You were there. We were there for about 3 hours, just about. It's not the National. It's not, the Philly show. It's probably not as big as the Philly show, but it was actually pretty busy. It was the busiest Raleigh show that I've ever been to, and I've been to 3 or 4 of them. So, but what did you think? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a pretty good show. Lots of people out. It was diverse. There was all different ages. There was older. There was younger. There was a little bit of vintage. Quite a bit of modern basketball. I mean, there was a little bit of everything, and I wouldn't say that one single thing overwhelmed the show. I would say it was a good variety, and it was evenly distributed.
Yeah. I thought that there was, and it's not that different from usual, but not that there weren't graded cards, but there were tables of just raw cards, solely raw cards set up. But there was also more higher end dealers that were there. It's just when you go to the National or you go to some of those larger shows where you just see so much of the higher end stuff, when you go to a show like this, it's just more normal where you're seeing kind of, low end stuff, mid tier and high end. So, but it was really good. I mean, it was definitely the busiest Raleigh show that I've been to. And I was kind of wondering, cause this is kind of the last warm weekend of the year, I think, that we're going to have before it starts really kicking into fall. But yeah, it was really busy. Steve and I did have a few pickups. Steve, why don't you go first? And actually what's funny is I saw the card that Steve bought and I was actually like, man, I'd really like to get that card, but I'd already kind of spent my budget for the show. And then I was like, I got to find Steve so that I can share it with him. And I had my son with me actually, and he was kind of like, yeah, can we take a break? I would like to sit down. So I was like, all right, well, I got to show Steve that card after I, take my son for a break. And so anyway, take it from there. How did you find it? I noticed it was in the top right corner of this guy's case.
Yeah, I was actually targeting some of this stuff, and it's, Hall of Fame patch autos, some stuff that I've been looking at. My first Joe Namath on card patch auto card, flawless, numbered out of 15. The guy was up there, had a fair price on it. We negotiated some. I wanted to pay a little bit less. However, I was mainly bluffing. Must have tipped my hand a little bit. He knew I was bluffing, and so I ended up meeting him at, what I still thought was a fair price, and I'm happy with the card. And like you talked about the raw cards that were there. It was nice to see quality raw cards. Mm-hmm. A lot of times raw cards are kind of leftovers, and I felt like there was a lot of quality raw cards also at this show.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. I mean, there was quarter bins, there was dollar bins, there was high-end raw stuff. It was good. So there was one table. And you had another pickup. Did you bring the other pickup? It's okay if you didn't. So there was another table where they had a few things that I liked, and then there was one card in particular as well that Steve liked. And what we did, and I guess this can be a lesson for those that are new to going to shows, is if you can kind of buy a handful of cards at once, you can negotiate a lot of times down to a better price if you're kind of buying in bulk, so to speak. So we ended up buying 5 cards from this particular, well, I bought 4, Steve bought 1, but because we were kind of bringing it all together, we were able to save a little bit of money. So the first one that I'll show, and we did get kind of discounts off of these prices, but I've been taking a look at the 2007 Donruss Playoff National Treasures. So this was National Treasures before Panini had it. And I like this set because it's got a lot of game used stuff. And it's even got, so you see like, this is John Elway auto, and then there's game worn patch stuff. But then there's also in this set like shoes and, you know, all sorts of different mem cards that are pretty cool, just different things. And so this one, I'd been looking at similar ones, Dan Marino and Elway on eBay, and did see actually that the price was right for this particular one of that set. So I picked that up. And then he also had, I wasn't really, you know, looking for these, but these are kind of the early, well, what year are these actually? I thought these were like early 2000s, but let me see if I can find it. I can't, 2001. Yeah, early 2000 Upper Deck Theismann autos, and they were $20 each when I got a discount off of that. And yeah, Joe Theismann, not necessarily a guy that everyone is looking for, but it's a Hall of Fame QB, and they're on-card autos for what amounted to about $15 a card. So, and then the card that I really am most excited about, again, this is one that Steve had actually saw at this guy's booth and showed it to me. Now, if this was in Cowboys gear, this would be a whole different level, but this is Tony Dorsett when he played for the Broncos. Steve actually made a good point. I think that Tecmo Bowl for the Nintendo had Dorsett for the Broncos, but this is flawless. It's numbered to 15, I believe. It's a game-worn 3-color patch. It's on-card auto. It's a gem, a true gem, a 9.5 all the way across, BGS 9.5. And then it also has a 10 auto on it. So I know with the thicker cards, it can be tricky to get a good grade. A lot of times I'm just happy getting a BGS 8 or BGS 8.5 or a 9 for these thicker cards. But the fact that it was 9.5, a true gem, meant I thought, hey, that seems like a pretty good value. And again, we got a discount on all the sticker prices. So I was excited to get that one. So yeah, that was our time. It was awesome kind of having Steve here. Steve, any additional thoughts? Anything you want to throw out to the people?
No, it was just a super fun time, coming here and hanging out. The show. It's not the first time we've been to a show together, but on Dustin's home turf here, and
he was kind of weirded out coming to the office/studio. He was like, "Oh, this is where you do your thing." Yeah. And also, he didn't realize that I stand. So we're like standing up as opposed to sitting down at a table.
Yeah, my videos are too long for me to stand. I wouldn't stand that long. I would fall over in the middle of them. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. So that was the Raleigh show. Hopefully we'll have Steve back for another one, or maybe I'll go up and go to the Boston show or Philly or something with him, and we can do something similar. But thanks again for joining me, Steve.
Oh, no
Guys,
problem.
Stay healthy, stay awesome. We'll talk to you again later.